Luis Bravo is visiting with us. He is the president of Comite Vida, and he is one of the members of the Sonoma County May 1st Coalition. Luis, welcome to the show. It's always a pleasure. I know you've been working very hard. I know you're still working very hard in order to finalize the preparations for the May 1st March. Can you give us a little bit of a historical record about why is this important, obviously, but when did it get started and why?
Hi, Rafael. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Luis Bravo with Comite Vida, also a member of May 1st Coalition of Sonoma County. For years, we've organized the community on May 1st. We know that May 1st is International Workers' Day around the world, right? And since 2007, once the significant attacks against immigrant communities started to be implemented or proposed in Congress, the immigrant community responded very thoroughly and got thousands of people organized in Santa Rosa, 10,000 people in Santa Rosa, and millions of people around the country. So May 1st has been synonymous with Immigrant Rights Day in the United States, I'd say. And Comite Vida and other community volunteer organizations are working together in supporting May 1st March once more. We are inviting the community to join us and join us this Monday. We're gathering at 3 p.m. at Roseland at 777 Sebastopol Road, where historically we have met. That's where the old Dollar Tree used to be. That's where the Mitote Food Park is now at. There's some parking in that area. There's other near Lola's. Some people could also park downtown if they decide to do that, given that we're going to be finishing the march there.
Definitely. It's important for people, again, to understand that in 2006, HR 4437, which was the anti-immigrant law that you're referring to, was proposed in Congress, and 2 million people or so in LA and a few other million in different cities gathered and came together. I remember that a local newspaper reported that 13,000 people in Sonoma County had come together. I remember we took over downtown Santa Rosa, and it was one of the most beautiful sights, black, brown, white, and everybody came out and they said, no, either I am being affected directly or I know somebody that is. And so, can you tell us who else is going to show up or who are you collaborating with this time? Because what we know is that there's a lot of issues. And again, May 1st, although it connects with immigrant rights and advocacy, it's the International Workers' Day, but there are a lot of issues that are happening in our community. Could you give us a little bit more detail on that?
Yes. We're creating coalition with various groups. We're joining in with North Bay Jobs with Justice, North Bay Organizing Project, Almas Libres, a subgroup of Raices Collective. We've partnered and have gotten support from different union groups, Labor Council, Teamsters, Hyatt, union employees. We're going to have a Hyatt unionizing employees speak about issues. We're going to have immigrant, undocumented immigrant speakers. We're having Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition speak to us. We are also having student groups. We're connecting with high school students, and high school students should be joining in. Reason why we're departing Roseland past 3, roughly close to 3:30, but people can join us throughout the march as well. Santa Rosa Junior College students will be speaking as well, highlighting and and pushing a stop to school violence. So it's a diversity of voices, right? As we want it to be, right? This is a labor movement. This is an immigrant rights movement. This is a social justice day.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And again, people are invited to participate. And one of the important things that you mentioned is that you want students to participate. I remember in 2006, 2007, when it was really challenging, parents would bring their children. And I will always remember there was a mom who brought their child one of those times, and it was raining. And I was behind them. I didn't even notice. And there was a mom carrying a baby. And then to her right, she had her maybe 5-year-old. And she's in one arm, she's holding one baby. In the other one, she's holding the hand of the other kid. And then that kid is holding the hand of the other little brother. And at some point, the youngest sibling who's cold and is wet now and is tired, we are almost to downtown, I remember, he looks up at his older brother, who's only, again, maybe 5 years of age, and he says that he's tired. And there's nobody to carry him because mom is already carrying the baby. And the older brother just says, "We're almost there," and squeezes his hand in a loving way. And that was the encouragement that that child needed. And so for me, I wanted your opinion, but how important is it for children to participate in this type of event? And with the understanding, obviously, that if parents want to take their children out of school early, they have a legal right to do so. Plus, likely, these children will learn more about organizing and standing up for their rights at an event like yours than sitting in a classroom for another hour. But why is it important that children show up?
I mean, you know, we're used to comfort, right? Humans are, and I think it's critical that people. I think we all need to develop the skill of knowing and realizing what we are willing to fight for. Some people say what you're willing to die for, right? But die for or fight for. And I think we need to get outside of the box,
Mhm.
right? We know, yes, people should get an education, but we know that the world is full of issues and challenges and problems and hopefully solutions, right? I think if we are to encourage this type of event and have our little ones join us and have our little ones see that people are standing up for things, it normalizes that, right? And may, young folks are super curious and they might ask the question, right? They will ask the question of like, hey, why are people doing this? Like, what's going on here, right? Like, what's the goal of this? So I think we need to encourage our young ones to think, to ask, to see, and not just to watch TV or not just to follow uh, society through media, right?
Mhm.
I do think it's critical to engage little ones, elementary school students, high school students, college students, and start learning from real world issues right away.
Definitely. And so it's important for parents to, again, as we mentioned, if you want to, need to, choose to take your child out of school early. Again, Luis is going to remind us the location and the time in a minute, but it's essential for you to consider what are we teaching and what should we be teaching our children, because an event like this one and learning about your rights and everything else, it's going to affect that child's negotiation skills when they get that professional job as a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, and so on, which is something else that sadly the educational system at this moment doesn't really teach. Some of us in our classrooms at the college level try to do those things. Critical analysis and critical thinking is what we call it. But here you can get that type of unity. And so I'm really excited about this event. If you could take also a minute before you remind us of the time and location, and just remind us what is this registry law proposal? What does and how many people could benefit from this?
Thank you so much. Yes, so part of one of our major issues that we're pushing for is for papers for all, right? We know we have fought for that for decades now. And one of the ways to get that is through registry, updating the registry law. Currently, the United States government has a registry program that allows papers or documentation to some populations. We just have forgotten to update the program. The program as it stands, I believe, provides documentation to immigrants that have lived in the United States consistently, uninterruptedly since 1972. What we are asking the government, that includes the House of Representatives, the Senate, and obviously the president, is to update that law, to have that kick in, I don't know, 2023 or 2022. Doing that would provide legal status to 8 to 9 million undocumented immigrants. We know there's roughly 11 to 12 million undocumented people. That's probably the most ambitious immigration proposal that's out there. Reason why we're pushing for that, right? We want there to be an update to this current law, but it's going to require work. We know it's going to be difficult. We know there's a lot of people against it. We do know that Americans as a whole support immigration reform. There's 75-80% of Democratic voters, 70% of independent voters, even Republican voters support comprehensive immigration reform with background check. We're looking at 55% of Republican voters supporting papers for most people. But we do know that politicians don't listen to our needs and act independently using selfish reasons, right? So we know that the vast majority of the United States people support this. So we need to fight, we need to continue, we need to push, we need to coalesce, we need to continue on. We cannot stop. We need your help. Please join us this Monday at 3.
And again, just for our community, as a reminder, is Monday at 3 p.m. at 777 Sebastopol Road. You can find parking in the area, in the streets surrounding there. And then you're going to go to downtown Santa Rosa, where you're going to stop at 777. And this is Sonoma Avenue, which is the federal building. And from there, you're going to go to downtown, where you have speakers and music, hopefully, and other information, because you're going to have some tables with information. And so I want to thank you for taking the time and coming over to the show, Líderes del Futuro, and just having a conversation with us, updating us as to what's going on. We invite the community to look at the registry law and then start looking at who is your congressional representatives so that you can decide how much involvement you want to have in this. And with that, again, thank you, Luis, for taking the time. Luis Bravo is, again, the president of Comite Vida, but he's also a member of the Sonoma County Coalition, May 1st Coalition, that is. So thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you, everyone.